Well, it feels like forever since I've done my episode of Technoid. I know I said that on the last episode, and it feels like it's been a while, but it definitely feels great to be back to talk to you guys outside of reviews and outside of all these things. Today, we're going to take a look at the Apple September event. By the time this video comes out, the event will be either a few days away or in about less than a week, depending on how long this upload takes. But with that being said, I am very excited for this event, and I think everybody is, and I'm going to talk to you guys about what is going to be unveiled at the event and realistically what exactly we can expect from it. And again, this is going to be my only video on this. I will talk about the event and everything afterwards later on down the road. We'll get to that at some point whenever we get there. But with that being said though, guys, this is just my opinion. I'm going to talk to you guys about all the products that we can expect and then any wild cards that might be coming at the end of the show. So for starters, let's start with the iPhone lineup. Now the iPhone lineup has been the biggest talk of the event because it is going through the biggest redesign that we have ever seen since the iPhone, at least I would say since maybe the iPhone, I want to say maybe the 14, at least in terms of the back of the phone, because Apple is doing a lot of changes to the Pro series. The regular 17 is the standard 17 that we know, but we'll get to the iPhone 17 Air in a moment. But focusing on the Pro and the Pro Max, those are really going to be the phones that get the most when it comes to upgrades. For starters, all three sensors are going to be 48 megapixels. It has that new camera bump. It also will be building in the antenna designs around that bump. And it's said that there is going to be a physical variable aperture underneath that camera bump. There is also talks of a brand new cooling vapor chamber underneath the phone, which is why the promotion art kind of looks like a cooling system, so that does kind of make sense. On top of that, it is also scheduled to go back to aluminum. Now, think about this for a second, guys. Think about this. We've seen the Pro series go from aluminum to stainless steel to titanium. Now it's going back to aluminum. Now, I understand why they're doing this. I don't agree with it, but I understand why. The titanium series had a lot of problems with the cooling. It had a lot of problems with the construction of the phone in terms of the cooling components. And aluminum does dissipate heat a lot better than titanium. With that being said though, how is it now justifiable to spend $1,200 to $1,300 on a phone made of aluminum now? Now, I'm not saying that that's the only reason. Obviously, you're buying it for the 120 hertz refresh rate, better display, the A19 Pro chip. I understand all that. But think about this, guys. The general consumer. You have a titanium model or stainless steel iPhone Pro Max. Now you get the brand new Pro Max. Build quality wise is a huge downgrade, but of course you do get better battery, which they're using a new denser material, and you are going to get a lot better in terms of the camera performance and the phone itself. It is going to be slightly thicker, but with that vapor chamber that they're making, it'll help to dissipate the heat a lot better. It will also feature the brand new MagSafe design, which is god-awful. Thank God most people are trying to hide that. But all in all, I just think for me, I think if I'm upgrading the phone and I have the 15 Pro Max, I would be hesitant to give up my titanium model, especially if the 15 Pro Max can still perform at a higher level. But with that being said though, it is going to be a hybrid kind of design because they're going to a unibody aluminum design. That means that the phone's borders and the camera bumps are more than likely going to be made out of aluminum, and the glass back is no longer going to be. But instead, it will be a panel where the Qi charger is for the MagSafe, and you could still wirelessly charge it without the need of it being a full glass back phone. So that actually is a huge positive for repairability, terms of durability, and more importantly, versatility. Now, taking a look at the lineup itself outside of the Pro and the Pro Max, the iPhone 17, the 17 Air, and all of them are getting 120 hertz. The 17 series is reportedly going to be getting some new colors. The Pro and Pro Max line is getting 2 colors, which we already know. It is the orange or bronze and the basically navy blue, which is similar to what I have right now. And then on the 17 side, it is going to be getting similar colors. It is also going to be getting green, purple, and a sky blue. And then of course comes the big daddy of the event, which I think is going to be the one that Apple is really banking their buck on, the iPhone 17 Air, which I've already made videos about, I've already talked about it, I don't have to go into details, but all that being said, that is gonna be coming in 4 colors, black, white, gray, and then a nice gold finish. That is actually really cool. And I think that the 17 Air is what Apple is banking on to expand their lineup. Now, I would have liked to have seen a liquid glass color make its way to the iPhone. There were reports saying that Apple was developing the liquid glass color to accommodate iOS 26, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Now, the last thing to talk about before I move on to the next products, and then we'll talk about the event itself, I think that the iPhone lineup is really solidified. I don't think they're gonna change anything. I think that this is what we're hearing and what we're seeing. And considering the fact that the Pro and the Pro Max, they're really just the big ones that everybody focuses on, I really feel like Apple should be focusing on those models and not really banking their buck on the cheaper models. But the good news is the starting price for the iPhones will remain at $799. The Pro will now come in $256. Starting configuration for, I believe, there are some reports saying it's gonna be the same price range. Some people are saying it's gonna be $100 more. And then some people are saying that the Pro Max will be $50 more. Now this could be also in part because of the tariffs and everything going on, but we'll have to wait and see when the event launches. So that's everything for the iPhone lineup. Now let's talk about the Apple Watch. So the Apple Watch lineup is really not going to be getting a lot of big features. This might be the one year where I'm like, yeah, I don't know if the Apple Watch is on Apple's radar this year. Specifically because the only major thing that's gonna happen with the Apple Watch is they are bringing back the blood sensor for models that they stopped manufacturing on, and also they are bringing 5G to the Apple Watches. Now, that is a good one. That is a good feature to have 5G on your cellular wrist, but outside of that, everything is gonna be the same. There's no redesign, there's no tweaks or anything. Even the Apple Watch Ultra 3 isn't gonna be even getting, it might get a slightly bigger display according to the reports, but there's no definitive concrete evidence to suggest that it's going to be a big impact on the event. So I wouldn't really bank on the Apple Watch being the biggest to focus on the event. And if I was you guys, I wouldn't really even worry about it, honestly. Just that's my opinion. Now let's talk about AirPods, because AirPods are reportedly going to be unveiled at the event, and the AirPod Pro 3s are going to be the next big best for the Apple wireless earbuds. For starters, I don't expect there to be colors, but again, sometimes if you set expectations low, you will not be disappointed. Still hoping. But the AirPod Pro 3s are reportedly going to be getting brand new internals. It will have the H3 chip, which will improve its active noise canceling. It will also help to improve the sound quality. There is also reports that it is also going to be getting a brand new redesign in terms of the charging case. And then lastly, it is going to be getting the heart sensor, which is a feature that was borrowed from the Powerbeats Pro, which is a feature it's going to be borrowing from the Powerbeats Pro. And I actually am excited to see how Apple will implement this heart sensor monitor, but I was hoping for dual drivers. I really was hoping Apple would maybe focus on the drivers for a change and not all the features. But honestly, given that AirPod Pros are its own product and they pretty much are a staple and do whatever they want, I mean, they can just do whatever they want with it. So, hey, AirPod Pro for the wins. Now, the last thing to talk about is some wild cards. These wild cards are things that can happen at the event, but are not locked in for surefire. These wild cards that I'm willing to go out on a limb are the HomePod Mini, a refreshed HomePod Mini, and also I am willing to bet a new redesigned Apple TV 4K. I think that we might be seeing that because there are reports coming out saying that Apple is looking to replace the plastic build of the Apple TV for the whole environment angle, and is also looking to go with a full metal housing with aluminum, and also because they took the fans out and a lot of people are saying their emphasis is cooling, aluminum can help to dissipate the heat and also maybe whatever else goes. But that's everything for the September event, so what are my thoughts? Well, I will say, Always set your expectations to low, because if things don't happen your way, then you will not be disappointed. But with that being said, I think that this year's event has a lot of hype and momentum going into it, solely because of the Pro and the Pro Max. I think this is the longest time that I've heard a lot of people excited for the Pro and Pro Max. Not even the last year's 16 Pro Max had this much hype. The 15 Pro Max was only for titanium. This is a different type of hype, and I think that this one is warranted, and we'll have to wait and see how this one plays out. I'm really more excited to see the wild cards if it happens, and honestly speaking, I will probably most likely be getting the 17 Pro Max, so we'll have to see how that's gonna play out in real time, and I'll let you guys know if I end up feeling like this is the way to go, but we'll see what happens. But listen guys, Apple event is here in a few days. I am excited to see what happens, and hopefully by the end of the event, we'll be getting a lot of products, so just wait and see. And for those of you that are still wearing your Apple jock straps, be ready to shell out $1,300 unless you trade in your phone at Verizon or your cellular company. Just saying.